You feel it, you know it. D-Raw Productions.
Houston Sports Connoisseurs brought to you by
D-Raw.
What's up, people? It's your boy D-Raw, the Houston Sports Connoisseur, and today I got my boy with me.
What's going on? I'm back, people.
All right, so we're going to open up the show today with some college football. We're going to review what happened in week 2 of college football. One of the most notable games was that Texas and Alabama game. Boy, was it a shootout.
It was. I love the fact that Steve Sarkisian, he brought together a good offense, a great defensive mindset for the team, and he got them to fight and keep going, and he actually beat his old team. And not only that, he beat his mentor, I believe, for the first time ever. And I'm very proud of him.
You know, the one interesting thing is you don't really see too many of Nick Saban's mentors beating him.
That's very true. Well, no, it took Kirby Smart a while, too. It took Kirby Smart a while. I'm not sure. Bill O'Brien never coached in other colleges.
So
No, he did. He coached at Penn State, but I don't think they ever played each other.
Yeah, they never played it against each other.
Okay, so, yeah, you might be right on that.
Quentin Ewers, he went for 349 yards, 3 TDs. He played exceptional. Texans' running game was actually pretty good as well. Longhorns did their thing out there. I really expected more out of Alabama as far as the offensive standpoint. I thought the game would be a little bit closer, maybe like a 3-point slide, but it actually ended up being 34-24 in UT's favor.
Now, there's one thing I do need to talk about because it actually surprised me. When Texas won the game, because they were in Alabama, the fact that the fans were shouting racial slurs, but I could have swore everybody on the Alabama team is black too. So what was the point of even doing that?
I don't really think that they was. Well, it was racial slurs. It was racial slurs, but I don't know if that's what they was really trying to get at. I think they were just trying to, get in the players' heads.
No, I get that. I get that because that's just, what SEC football is. It's grit, it's grind. But the point is, out of all the things to choose, why choose racial slurs? And everybody on the team is black. So you telling me, is this what you think of your Alabama players when they lose? Or do you still think about them like this when they win? Like, what is the real issue?
Well, the most interesting thing about it all is that, since Alabama lost that game, there's been talk about Nick Saban possibly return, and then you got fans talking about, we need a new coach, this and that. Bro, it's one loss.
Nick Saban is a collegiate football god. Yes, there are times when he does come up short, and this always coming into more and more because they've been losing the last couple of years, and now Georgia is taking the top prize over them. But nobody was saying this when Alabama was at the height, and they still at the height. They still have a top 5 recruiting class every single year. So, okay, yes, Texas is getting better, but Texas is in the SEC now. Hey, you got to realize, Alabama, when y'all on TV, people are going to the schools that are on TV the most, so they can get the most recognition, so they can get the most NIL money. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line, and you got to realize. How many college kids can be on the team?
Shit, I don't even know.
I know it's not like the NFL where you do like 53-man roster.
It's
but
way more than that because you got red shirts and all that.
70, 80 kids? You got to realize, it's too many kids that want to play college football that can't get into Alabama. So what they going to do? They're going to go to Auburn. They're going to go to Texas A&M. They're going to go to Texas. They're going to go anywhere they can to get an opportunity. Mississippi State. The SEC is the number 1 conference, and I believe right behind them is the Big Ten, and then the ACC, and then you got the Big 12. Because Lord knows there's no more Pac-12. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but that's a different topic. But go ahead, because I got to hear this.
Well, speaking on Utah and Baylor, you got Pac-12 versus a Big 12 and 2 teams that's going to be Big 12.
Man, you might as well say Big 10, man. You might as well say Big 10.
Man, that was a real good game. I expected Baylor to come out looking for redemption because they lost that first game against Texas State.
Okay.
And for them to come out against Utah the way they did, maybe Texas State was actually a pretty solid football team, because Utah won this game against Baylor in the last couple seconds, 20-13 in Utah's favor. Do you expect more out of Baylor going into week 3? Do you think they'll get better, or you think they'll stay on the same track?
No, I think they're going to stay on the same track. But honestly, why are we just scrutinizing Baylor? Why can't we just give applause to Utah? The Utes actually look good this year. Now, my main thing is you got to think about it, because they've proven that they can beat USC. I don't know if they can really beat Oregon this year, because Bo Nix is really just going on a rampage. And I really feel that Caleb Williams is trying to redeem himself from that Big 12 that Pac-12 title game. If Utah can stay on the wave that they're riding, because they got some good games coming up. And believe it or not, UCLA is always a challenge. I don't know about Washington. Washington State will never be a challenge. But they still have a lot of games to prove their worth in the Pac-2. I don't know what to call it now, because everybody's gone. Is Utah going to the Big 10 next year? They're
going to the Big 12.
Oh, they going. Okay, they come. Yeah, so they come with Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado, Arizona State, Arizona.
Okay, so we get some nice. So it's gonna be a nice balance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm trying to figure this out too. So, where's Iowa State? Are they in the Big 10? They still in the Big 12 with us.
Iowa State is in the Big 12.
Okay.
But Iowa is in the Big 10.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about, because they play each other every year.
Yeah,
and then they played each other last week. That was a good game.
If I'm correct, I believe they played this week or previous week.
They did,
and Iowa took care of their business against Iowa State, which is surprising because last year Iowa State was actually pretty solid.
I know. That's what I was really just blown away by that, because you would think that's the one thing that I never understand about college. Like, I understand they lose kids to the draft, they lose kids to transfers, but I feel like if you're building a solid and consistent program, I never understand how these college teams always fluctuate so much, but then you always got the ones that always remain the same. Like Ohio State remains the same.
It's just that you just got those blue breeds. What do you want to call them? It's just Ohio State. They always gonna be good. Always. You'll never really see them slide. Alabama's pretty much been the same for the last 15 years.
So
now,
is
I don't know.
Is that more coaching or program though?
Coach, it is coaching, but it's also money. But then at the same time, it's about where do you direct your money? What coach are you pulling in? Because look at UT, they even went through about 3 or 4 coaches in the last 10 years.
And I felt like they had some great coaches.
Some of them was great, some of them wasn't, and some of them, they really. They got a short fuse. They got a short fuse for some coaches, and Charlie Strong is one of those short fuses.
Yeah,
we're not gonna get into it, but
who came after him? Because he was at U of H, I know.
Tom Herman.
Yeah, Tom Herman.
Now see, Tom Herman, they gave him the slide, bro. They gave him a slide. I think Tom Herman was there for 3-4 years, and to be totally honest, he really, if you look at his record overall from the time he was there, it wasn't too bad. But within a season, they really didn't have that much success. So I can see why they, let go Tom Herman.
Yeah, man. Speaking of a coaching carousel, what do you think Michigan State gonna do with Mel Tucker? Because those some crazy allegations, and you already know. Ever since that Sandusky Joe Paterno thing, they don't take that light no more. At all.
They'll find another coach, but my question is Michigan State really a destination you really want to be at nowadays?
They was up and coming. Mel Tucker, he just signed a 10-year deal.
Yeah, but what has Michigan State really done?
They upset Michigan a couple of times. They never beat Ohio State, but they get with Michigan. They're always like a 10-win team at least 9 or 10 wins.
This is the real question about coaching carousel. What's up with Jimbo Fisher? They lost to Miami, and they lost pretty big, 48-33. at Miami. It's pretty disappointing. They came into the season ranked. They was number 23 this past week. Now we know they're not going to be ranked because they lost to an unranked Miami team. Not to knock on Miami, because Miami can have a pretty good football team here and there, but Jimbo hasn't really reached any high success at Texas A&M. He hasn't really done anything exceptional in his position for the kind of pay he's getting.
Look, you got to stop beating around the bush. You know what's gonna happen at the end of the season.
But why is it taking so long? How long has he been at Texas A&M? About 5 years.
He's been there the full contract. He's been there the full. So he earned the full $75 million.
So he hasn't done anything since Florida State.
Yeah, but at this point, I feel like his recruits are just now coming in, and they're finally buying into the program. So I don't really feel like they will extend his contract. They might give him a 1-year deal, but he won't get a massive extension. Honestly, if he survives this season, it'll be a shock to me all the way. It's gonna be a shock.
Are they really buying into the program? Because 33-48, 33 for Texas A&M, and they 1-1. I think the first week they didn't really play anybody, and then you jump to this ACC school, which with expectations of you being a big SEC school, I expect you to go knock out Miami.
But we can say that about our own school, U of H. Like, how did they lose to Rice?
Well,
come on. Like, this is don't get me wrong. I know they came out sputtering against UTSA, and which is expected. The coach, he trying to, get them, fired up. They started out a little slow, but then they eventually, got their bearings together, brought out the win. Then you let Rice, you gave them too many opportunities to just come back, then to lose it in overtime the way they did. Like, oh my God.
Let's look at some of the notable stats of this Rice and U of H game. JT Daniels, which is like a 7-year senior.
Well, you just love ragging on this dude.
He went 28 for 42, 401 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception. Donovan Smith for U of H, 24 for 42, 260 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. It's amazing how they threw for the same amount of times. 42 apiece. And the other guy, he threw 4 more passes and he got 1 more TD, which is not bad. I mean, I guess, considering all things. The top rushers, Mathis for U of H, 8 carries, 60 yards. Connors for Rice, 8 carries, 48 yards. Ooh. They was pretty on par for everything. Receiving yards, Luke McCaffrey for Rice, 7 receptions, 99 yards, 2 TDs. There's your problem right there. And then when you look at the U of H side, Brown, 9 receptions, 138 yards, no TDs. What a waste of time. All these catches, all these yards with no TDs. You got to get in the end zone. And I feel like that's Houston's number one problem. They got to find a way to get in the end zone, and they need to succeed in the red zone, at least field goal, something.
Like, the passing game is not the issue because we can see that they can spread the ball around. They know how to get the receivers open. They know how to create separation. The problem is they're not – the rack yardage is low. And then they have to, find ways to, get the blocks out. Line up in trip formations if you have to. Do some crossing routes. You got to do something that's going to put the receivers in a situation where they can create rack yards.
Not only the receiver, they need to figure out how to put Donovan Smith in a situation where he could succeed and figure things out, because week 1 against UTSA, which is a pretty solid team, he got sacked 3 or 4 times. And then coming into this game, he got sacked quite a few times as well. And just the fact that Rice was up 21-0 in the first quarter, and then the second quarter they get another touchdown, so that's 28-7 because U of H finally scored, and then U of H, I don't know, eventually they flipped the script in the fourth quarter, not the third, but the fourth, where they put up 21 unanswered points in the second half and held Rice down until overtime. So I don't know what happened, what kind of changes they had as far as coaching, who was calling the plays in the second half. But however they did in the second half, they probably want to run with that going into the rest of the season, because you can't lose to a team like Rice. Rice is a bottom feeder. Now,
oh man,
not to put a knock on Rice.
I didn't
but
even laugh at that.
They
Rice
have
University.
Rice is not the same Rice they have been in the last 10 years. Coming from Conference USA now into the American Conference, you could tell that they're pulling more talented athletes and stuff. You got Luka McCaffrey. He's related to all the McCaffreys.
So they getting good players, but you got to realize once they really get the system in play and they really start just executing, I feel like they can be better. I'm not saying that they just gonna be like in the hunt for a Big 12 championship, but they should at least be 7-5 and stuff like that.
Let's be real. Let's go ahead and put the fire on Dana Holgerson's seat.
You mean put the fire? The fire should have already been ignited.
Well,
did you not see that game last week? Did you not see last year?
Well, last year they went 8-5. They did win a bowl game. So,
but that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about, but in those 5 games, even the 8 games they won.
Even the 8-1, I understand. Like, honestly, bro, you didn't know if Houston was gonna come out with the win or not throughout last season. Just right, surprisingly, magically, they did.
Every game was gut wrenching. Every game, and it shouldn't be.
So, going into this next week, week 3, Houston faces TCU at home at 7:00, and it's going to be on Fox, so everybody can tune in and watch this one. TCU will open up this game with a 62.9% chance of winning against U of H, and U of H is left with a 37.1%.
Let me tell you why that works about
spread on this game is 7.5 points. How do you think that's going to work out after U of H lost to Rice? Going into this TCU game, do you think Dana Holgerson bounces back, or do you think it gets worse?
Well, me being the U of H fan, I want to say that Holgerson is going to bounce back. But in my reality, ever since TCU lost to Colorado in that opening game, they have readjusted everything. You can tell from that win last week. Mm-hmm. U of H needs to go out here, and I hope they working all this week. I hope they working on some new plays, maybe play action, more spread, something to get the quarterback comfortable in the pocket. Because right now, like you said, the offensive line has been their struggle. And not only that, on defense, the secondary is the struggle.
Yeah.
So those are 2 major red flags that they need to figure out right away. Now, the offensive line, I feel like you can probably figure out faster than the secondary, because you can just make a few adjustments here and there. Move this person to tackle that was once a guard, move the guard over, whatever you need to do. If you got to have somebody pulling, run more options, whatever the case may be. It's easier to figure out with the offensive line than the secondary.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to tell you what I think the problem is with U of H. Number one problem is it's the offense.
Hurts my heart.
For Holgerson to be one of the first people to be, part of the invention of the air raid, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he was part of the air raid. And
that's a fun fact I didn't know.
For them to come together and put this system together for U of H, the number one problem and I looked at all the U of H teams over the past 20 years.
Yeah, because we know it's not recruiting. Do
you see how slow the offense moves when they get into action?
And
I watched them against Rice, and I see Donovan Smith. He go up, he line up, and then they do an audible. He looks to the sideline, and then he points out whatever he needs to point out at the offensive line. And then when they run a play, you know what they run? A fucking draw. They run a fucking draw, bro. Right up in there. I said, bro, you telling me you got to do all these adjustments and do all that at the line just to run a draw down the middle?
Because honestly, they should be running a no huddle.
They should be running a no huddle nonstop. If they was doing that, they could have beat Rice.
Yeah,
Rice
because they had their secondary on the back end because they were just killing them across the middle.
Yeah,
they was killing them across the middle.
It's like,
the tight end came into play. Everything was going their way, but they was too slow to get back to the line of scrimmage. They weren't running out of bounds when they were supposed to, because he had a couple of plays where he would do a couple of passes to get them out of bounds. They wasn't even going out of bounds. They trying to fight. This is not the time for you to fight for yardage now.
Yeah.
This is the time for you to actually get out of bounds.
And it's like, what are y'all really doing? Are you trying to save time for Rice or well, I won't say save time for Rice. Are you trying to run the clock out and just play for overtime? Or are you trying to really win the game? Because in the fourth quarter, I feel like they was just trying to play for overtime. After they had got close to tying the game up, they decided to tie the game up the last minute. I guess that goes to show they don't trust their defense. It's the second year of the defense looking suspect. First game, against UTSA, they look all right. They look pretty stout.
Yeah.
Now in this game, it's like, man, what's really going on? You letting Rice put up points like that? So when you look at this TCU and U of H game, man, you kind of gotta ride with TCU.
I hate to say that, but the fact is they only got 62%. So that gives me a glimmer of hope that maybe
U of H could do something.
That they do something, that could probably just be a sliding upset. Now, if it was anything above, like if it was like 75, then I wouldn't.
I'm gonna tell you another thing that I think that really occurred when Rice played Texas last week. They already knew they was gonna lose that game, so Rice went out there and they showed base offense, base defense. So it's like, why even give away all our good stuff? Because honestly, we don't have the talent to really beat Texas.
Yeah.
But they did good with what they had. They held Texas down, I think,
Man,
the
first half.
The first half was pretty good.
First half.
The second half,
they didn't start putting in anybody in the second because they knew they wasn't going to catch up, and it's no sense in risking injury at this point. So let's just go in. Let's just play around with the offensive line, play with the running back, see what we got, and then we can just see. And then next week we can actually execute all the plays we want to, and it showed.
And that's what they did.
It showed.
And so now you gotta ask yourself, was U of H just overlooking Rice and looking forward to TCU?
I hope not,
because that's their first Big 12 game.
They can't overlook anyone right now.
Well,
anyone.
Yeah, after losing to Rice, you definitely can't.
No, I'm talking about just in general because they got to understand the Big 10 is new for them. So you don't really know Big 12 is new for them. So they don't really know what they up against because if that's the case, then that means they're gonna try to overlook West Virginia. They're gonna try to overlook Kansas State. I
don't think they'll overlook anybody Big 12. I think they was just looking forward to playing in the Big 12 so much they overlooked Rice because they've beaten Rice in the Bayou Bucket 7 times straight.
Okay.
So they thought it was gonna be an automatic win. And now I think they was just looking to TCU because they're like, oh, we get to play TCU finally. I don't think they played TCU since the Houston Bowl or Texas Bowl, whatever, and they lost.
Okay.
Years ago. So now they get to play them again, and they're looking forward to it. Now, if Houston go out here and win, then that's what they was doing. They was looking forward to being TCU. But then the question is, do you overlook Sam Houston in the next week and you look forward to your next Big 12 opponent, or do you focus on Sam Houston and you beat them at home? So now that we're sitting at 3-1 going into the next Big 12 game.
But they gotta understand they're not pros and it's not high school. Every game in college counts.
Right.
Every game. So you can't overlook anybody. Like the only time you take your foot off their neck is in the fourth quarter when you up by a substantial amount. If you up by 5 touchdowns, then you can take you can take the training wheel. I mean, you can just put the training wheels back on and just sit down.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no, because number one. Yeah, kudos for them coming back in the Rice game. They was down 28-7. But the fact is, when you had a chance to actually put them away in the fourth quarter, you slowed up and let them take over.
I'll even say this: what they did in the second half was great. It also goes to show that they could have shut this Rice team out if they came into the first half playing fast, like they did in the second half. They could have beat Rice. So that goes to show they started slow and they overlooked Rice, and Rice came out there ready, gunning.
True.
And looking at Rice now, you know who they play next week?
Who?
TSU.
Man.
Now,
I feel like TSU might give them a game.
I don't think so.
Because they always try to play up to their competition.
They didn't play up last week. You know what they lost to Toledo?
They lost to Toledo?
71-3.
Oh, man.
So you really think they're going to play up to Rice? I doubt it. Hopefully that TSU does come out looking better. I expected TSU to be a better football team this year, especially after they lost to Prairie View, because I was looking at that PV game, and they had the dub in their pocket. But I think the one thing about TSU, their biggest issue is probably going to be coaching more than the talent on the field. I think it's the coaching because they just do some head scratchers.
I've never heard anything bad about their coaching. I've heard more things as far as like just trying to get in a solid recruiting class, because you got to realize you have too many other schools around them that absorbs a lot of, of their quality players, especially in the Houston metropolitan area.
Yeah.
If they got a chance, U of H is always going to be a better chance, especially off in the full ride.
Well, yeah, but
you got PV
but if you want to go to HBCU, TSU and PV is not bad options at all, and neither one of the schools is really anything bad about it. I would say PV is they probably can offer you a little bit better as far as amenities now, since they're part of the A&M system, and I think that's the one thing that separates the two. I think TSU probably need to join U of H system and get some of that money, so they can really make true improvements. Have a on-site or on-campus stadium and things like that, instead of having fans travel to BVA campus or what's called Shell Energy Stadium now or whatever.
They changed the name again?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I think that's the problem with TSU. They need to figure out ways to make everything happen more on campus, keep their students on campus, and just improve in the athletic department, because the basketball team does pretty good every year. But if they can improve on that football side, TSU will be okay. Yeah. PV next week, they play SMU. There'll be another L for PV after they just lost to Abilene Christian, which I actually thought that they was going to probably come out of there with the victory, them being at home, and it's their home opener. They lost 45-16, which is not good at all. Going into SMU, they're gonna.
Yeah, SMU. Hey,
yeah, they're gonna definitely.
Hey, Southern Methodists always find a way.
And SMU actually had played Oklahoma this previous week, and they lost. So they looking for another win.
They looking for some revenge. Hey, I'd be scared to play Oklahoma this year.
And
hey, wait a minute, U of H don't play Oklahoma this year, do they?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Only UT.
Oh, thank God.
And then you got HCU, Houston Christian University. They're facing off against UT Martin.
Let's go. Let's go HCU.
HCU did lose to Western Kentucky as predicted, 52-22.
Hey, they put up 22 though.
They did put up 22.
They put up 22. So that shows me that their offense is making improvements. They still got to cut down on the turnovers, but it's gonna happen with time.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at their stats, man, they really didn't play so bad. They didn't allow a whole bunch of sacks and things like that, things that you would expect. We thought that they was going to get beat down like how they beat down on Arkansas Baptist, but it was pretty solid. It was actually pretty solid. So, looking at week 3, we got some pretty good matchups for week 3 of college football. Okay, so we got Wyoming and UT playing. UT will be at home. Now,
really?
You can overlook this game, but Wyoming 2-0, UT 2-0. Wyoming did beat Texas Tech at home. Man. Tech is a solid game. And you know what? We forgot to cover that one on week 2. Oregon did pull off that win against Texas Tech, but it was a hard fight, bro. It was a hard fight. So that just goes to show what kind of team Wyoming might be, and what if Wyoming somehow go into UT and knock them off? Everybody gonna be like, dang, Texas beat Bama, and then Wyoming beat Texas.
Yeah, I don't see that one, but I will give Wyoming credit. They have been on a recruiting tear over the past 10 years. They've been finding like low-key diamonds in the rough.
Now, you want to know the line on it, though?
What's the line? 30
points.
I
don't see 30 points.
Hey, if I was a bet man, I'd take that 30. Because they're not going to cover that.
They
Texas not covering that.
They're not covering 30. I just don't see it. Especially after, like I said, after what we seen out of Wyoming.
But think about it. Texas hasn't even really been putting up a lot of points this season anyway.
They haven't.
So,
for them... It also could just mean that maybe either UT offense is not that great, but it got to be good enough. They beat Bama. Bama always put out a good defense. And
they always put out a great offensive system, too.
Yeah.
So, we know it's not the quarterback. The offensive line should be just stellar at this point. it's gotta be something in the trenches. It's gotta be maybe the run game because they got receivers.
They don't really have a dominant running back this year. To be totally honest, they don't really have a household.
Yeah, not at Bijan is gone.
Yeah. Colorado will face off against Colorado State. Deion Sanders looked to go 3-0 after beating Nebraska last week.
That's gonna be an easy win.
Spread 23. I think it'll happen.
So you think they're gonna beat Colorado State by 23?
Yeah.
Because you know what? Why is everyone just so against Coach Prime this year? Like, what is everybody mad at the way he come to the media days, talking about he got hats and sunglasses on. Everybody don't like the way he done changed up the captain format, like, D is for dog, L is for leader.
I like that though.
Like, why is everybody so mad at his coaching approach? If you don't like it, then hey, change something at your program that stands out to get your team ready to win. Because that's what he's doing, and that's all that he's doing.
Yeah, I like what he's doing out there, man. He changing the culture. Yeah, he pretty much turning Colorado into an HBCU while you playing. LSU will face off against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is 2-0. LSU 1-1.
That's gonna be a good
they
matchup.
did lose to Florida State week 1, but they beat Grambling last week, which is an easy victory.
Right.
Spread of 9.5 points going into LSU's favor.
I like what the mad scientist predecessor is doing out there. He is inspiring them kids. They doing it for Coach Leach. They are actually buying into the system that Coach Leach left, his legacy. That game right there might shock LSU. I think Mississippi State might pull that one off.
That's gonna be horrifying for the LSU fan base, because for them to open up as a top ranked team and then make another slide against another big Power 4 team or Power 5 currently right now. Yeah. If they lose to Mississippi State, that's not good, man. That's really not good.
Well, but the good thing about the SEC, that's one thing I can honestly say. If you lose early, it's better to lose early in college football than to lose late.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they do lose to Mississippi State, they have so many other opportunities. Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn. They have so many other ways to catch back up and put themselves ahead. Texas A&M. They have so many opportunities to go ahead just like that and just get right back into the bowl race. But they got to beat those teams going down the stretch. Right now, if Mississippi State come out and shock them, they got two losses, they can easily come back and still pick up a majority of wins. Now, that's one coach that need to be on the hot seat too, though.
LSU coach?
Yeah, Brian Kelly don't look like he a good fit.
Yeah, especially if they lose this game, like you're saying. I think this is actually a must-win for him. He got to take care of his business, bro. He got to.
Okay. We're going to see. But I don't see it.
It's really not a lot of heavy hitters as far as games this week, but this Washington Huskies versus Michigan State Spartan game might be pretty good.
Yeah, because they got that interim coach right now while Mel Tucker suspended.
And then both of these teams are 2-0, but the line is 16.5 points going towards Washington. Do you see an upset somehow possible?
The Washington Huskies?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No.
What do you mean? You think they're gonna lose? Washington pretty good, bro.
Man, Washington ain't been good since Jake Brown, and he let me down in that national championship game. That boy was out there looking like a little kid against grown men against Alabama. And they ain't never been the same. They never recovered from that loss. They've been bottom feeders ever since.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with the Pac-12 teams.
Pac-2. The Pac-2.
Pac-2. The problem with the Pac-2 is that all their teams, the players that they recruit, most of them come off the West Coast. And then the ones that they do get that's from like the South or whatever, they always get them like skill positions. They need some big dogs down low in the middle, bro.
That's why they've been going to Hawaii getting all them Samoans.
They ain't big enough.
They not big enough.
Nah.
What's bigger than Samoan?
They not.
What's bigger than Samoan?
Who did Washington? Didn't they play like Alabama or something like that one year? Or Georgia or something like that? Well,
you talking about Washington?
Yeah.
Yeah, they played Alabama. I remember. I didn't know.
I'm just saying, and I think I've seen them play a couple SEC schools, you know, on a different couple years, and every time the problem is size. Problem is size. And if you look at it, I'm gonna be honest, man. Even them Big Ten schools, they really ain't got enough size, bro. Like outside of like the now they get some nice size running backs and stuff, but when it comes down to like them D tackles and them D ends and stuff against them corn-fed SEC school offensive linemen, they get dogged out, bro.
I don't know.
And that's why
I don't know. Hey, Michigan, they put out like no the Big Ten has put out some very elite like defensive players. Look! You got the Bosa boys. You got Aiden Hutchinson. You got like they put out nice D linemen.
One player though. It'd be one player. SEC they probably had like two of them kind of dudes on
like you got Chase Youngs out there. You got all them players that dominated in the Big Ten.
They do dominate, but they dominate as one individual. It don't be them and somebody else. Like if you look at like Bama or Georgia, it be them and somebody else.
That's true. Because you got
like
Jalen
bro,
Carter.
Them schools are factories, bro.
Yeah.
They some factories, bro. The one last game I want to kind of look at, it might be pretty good, is Tennessee and Florida.
That is gonna be good. I feel like Florida has been very up and down over the past couple of years. I can't really say like they are like coming back, but they are on the cusp of really just, getting over the hump because it's like it took them a while to really just find their predecessor after Urban Meyer. They've been going after coach after coach, and then their recruitment has been going down, and now that everything's starting to come back on the up and up, they're finally just like they're not getting talked about as they should be, but they are good enough to where like they can at least give you 7 to 8 wins, maybe 9 a season now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and lean towards Tennessee on this one. I know the line is going for Tennessee as well, 6.5. But looking at what Tennessee did last year and looking at them this year at 2-0, I think Tennessee is still on the right track to succeed until the latter part of the season.
Tennessee lost a lot of people in the draft, though.
They did. That's why I said to the latter part of the season.
But I think their recruitment class was very good over the past couple of years. They might have a lot of good freshmen and sophomores that's coming up into their little pipeline. And that's why I say, once again, you hit the nail right on the head. If you can get a chance to go to a school in the SEC, and if you want to go to Alabama and you can't get in because, they already fulfilled all their recruitments or all their scholarships run out, you still got Tennessee, Auburn. You have so many opportunities in the SEC to succeed.
Yeah. So transitioning into the NFL.
This ought to be good.
First, I'm gonna go ahead and look at my Houston Texans and we're gonna give them.
Well, he started it off bad.
I'm gonna give them the thumbs up on last week because number one, we went into week 1 against a solid.
What? You giving them a thumbs up?
Yeah.
Did we not watch the same game, bro?
Bro, the Texans played well. Going into a game, number one, they was not expected to win. I didn't expect the Texans to beat the Ravens. We had a former MVP quarterback, Lamar Jackson, going against us. We played damn well against him. We even forced him to throw an interception. He didn't throw no touchdown passes. He went 17 for 22, 169 yards. So that's pretty solid defense. Now looking at the other side, our rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, went 28 for 44, 242.
No turnovers.
Nope. Well, he did. He had a fumble, but it was like a last couple minutes fumble. It really didn't matter. But he didn't throw no picks.
So, I will say this about C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud looked poised in the pocket. When he was flushed out, he was trying to make plays with his arm and his leg. I don't know what it is about these rookies. Why are they not teaching these rookies to slide? I saw him go head first in a lot of plays that he shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. He needs to learn how to slide. And number 2, his accuracy was actually on point as far as like when he was coming out of the pocket on. And then I'm trying to figure out why y'all run so many play action plays. That was not working.
I think the play action came into play because of the offensive line. if you look at the offensive line, C.J. Stroud was pretty much running for his life, especially in the second half. The first half, he was looking pretty solid. It took him a while to. I'm gonna be honest. The first quarter, he didn't look like he was comfortable. He still had the bubble guts. Second quarter, he finally got everything down. He was comfortable. He was pretty poised in the pocket, accurate, finding Robert Woods, and then he started finding what's my boy Collins
and Tank Dell too.
Tank Dell, yep. Tank Dell got a couple. I think Tank Dell probably ended up with about four receptions.
Not gonna lie, I actually had to pick Robert Woods up on my fantasy because he done became like a good little safety net.
Yeah,
because like he's you can tell he worked with C.J. Stroud the most. Him and Tank Dell. Mm-hmm. Nico Collins, like I believe Nico Collins is gonna be good. I just feel like he's more of a red zone deep threat, but y'all didn't get to the red zone enough.
Well, when we did, I feel like the play calling became questionable. But you know what? Nico was the leading receiver, though. He had 6 receptions for 80 yards.
So, tell me this. Y'all run a West Coast offense, right?
Pretty much. That's what 49ers ran.
Okay. So, no, because I'm just trying to see, like, what the offense coordinator, like, what he's really, doing as far as, like, his development. Is C.J. Stroud moving in the right direction? Yes. Do they need to work with the offensive line more? Oh, yes. My God.
Yes.
Because the defense wasn't the issue. The defense just got tired.
The defense played
got
good.
tired.
Yeah, they got tired. But they was never really on the field too long either, though.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like 1,000 3 and outs.
I mean,
but
because
at the same time,
you look at the first half, they went into halftime, the score was 7-6 Baltimore. So you put your team in a real good position. And now when you open up the third quarter, I think Baltimore made some changes that Houston wasn't ready for because they opened up the third quarter with 15 points scored unanswered.
And what's your offensive coordinator? Sikowitz or
Slowick?
My bad. So they need to find a way to incorporate the running backs more.
Yeah, because Dameon Pierce, he only had 11 carries for 38 yards, and then.
But they didn't use Singletary hardly at all.
They didn't use Singletary at all, and they put that Boone dude in a couple times. Like for some little pass plays in the backfield.
But that's what you got.
But that's what you had Singletary for. So I think this coming into week 2, I need to see them find more ways to implement Singletary into the offense and just hand the ball off more to Dameon Pierce to get the passing game actually going, so they can open up some of them passing lanes.
Because what I did notice that the offensive line is better at run blocking than pass protection.
Oh yeah.
So that could be a key component. Because I understand why y'all was going with the play action. It's just the fact that Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen would just eat that shit up. Mm-hmm. They would, because you think you trying to block one, the next thing you know, the other linebacker just coming through. Baltimore won the trenches every which way. But the good thing is, though, the Texans secondary looked very good because Odell didn't get nothing.
Well, he did in the latter part of the
game.
Boy
got one catch?
But you know what? I actually thought Odell was going to open up the season and do pretty good because he hasn't played in like a year and a half or something like that. So with all the speculations about him coming into this year, talking about he might be hurt still and all those things, I thought Odell was going to go out there and really just prove everybody wrong.
But think about it like this, though. They never gave up anything over the top. Zay Flowers was pretty much contained. Odell was pretty much, they had to use him as a decoy at one point.
I won't say Zay Flowers was contained because he still got 78 yards receiving.
But the point is, though, it wasn't no deep explosive bombs and none of that kind of stuff.
It wasn't. It was the screen.
It was just basically
my thing about that is like D'Amico Ryans and I can't remember our defensive coordinator name, but they got to make adjustments, bro. Like the Ravens ran that screen, the same receiver screen, damn near every drive. Every time they touched the ball, they at least ran that screen. And I would say mostly on third downs. And it was always a Zay Flowers. And it was the same screen. It was either on the left side of the field or
the
right
side. That was it.
And they just kept doing it. And they was basically winning every time. And I think that's what pretty much beat the Texans in that game, that screen.
But see, that's when you're supposed to have people like Jimmy Ward. That's when you're supposed to have
Jimmy Ward was hurt. Jimmy Ward was hurt, and Petrie got hurt. He got a chest injury, so he probably won't be back for the Colts game.
Man, that's gonna be a tough.
So that's gonna hurt our DBs because you pretty much took out the QB of the DBs. You know what I'm saying, for your corners and stuff. As far as inside though, I'll say Denzel Perryman. He played his ass off. Also, just looking at all the rookies for the Texans played good, man. Looking at Will Anderson, he had a sack. He had six
pressures.
Ooh. So you talking about a rookie DN coming in, 6 pressures. Oh, and then Jonathan Grenard, he even got a sack as well. Christian Harris, he had a sack. So all the young players, they made plays. And Denzel Perryman, I see him all over the field making stops. So, like we said, man, defense looked good. Stingley, I didn't see him give up anything. He played pretty solid.
Yeah, he played good.
Petrie was tearing Lamar Jackson ass up until he got hurt. Like that, I think, and you know what? I think that's really what changed the game. Jalen Petrie being out, I think kind of opened it up for Baltimore to really just
because it changed their blitz packages.
Yeah, took some pressure off of Lamar for sure. So going into this Colts game, the Texans are actually favored to win this game, which is surprising.
It's gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be the only game of the season for them, besides maybe the Titans, where the Texans can actually have a chance to actually just show their offensive, show their offensive structure at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just see where it's going in the development process. Because we can tell from week 1, the defense is not the issue. The defense is going to keep them in games, but can the offense put up more points besides just field goals?
Yeah, and that's the problem with the Texans, and that's my problem with C.J. Stroud at this point. I have yet to really see him get in the end zone and throw touchdowns, besides the preseason game against the Saints. And that's what I think. Once he get in the end zone, you can't be mad at
him right now. You can't be mad at him.
No, I'm not mad at him, and it's probably really not even him. It's the offensive coordinator with the play calling.
Nah, it's like you got look. One thing I know for sure, just from looking at the NFL over the years, everything up front always starts with the trenches. Larry Tunsil, too many penalties, too many boneheaded plays.
Except that phantom holding or whatever they call it.
Oh, no. Now that play really upset me. That play, because that's the play when he rolled out and he made that pass completion.
When he rolled to the
left. And they call it holding.
Yeah.
And he didn't even hold. So, but that wasn't his only penalty.
That's true.
He didn't give up any sacks, but he did have a lot of, things where, like, you are the leader of the offensive line. You should be the main one keeping everybody else in check as far as, like, what to do, when to pull, what's going on. The right side of the line is terrible.
Yeah, especially after Font went down.
Yeah.
And then they had put, what's his name, Demeter, however you say his name. They had moved him from inside because he played like center and guard. And they moved him to right tackle. Man, that first play, he got tore up.
Man, even on that 4th and 2 play when they went forward in the first half, like, oh my God, the offensive line looked like they didn't even know what the play was. Because soon as he said Hunt and he came back, Patrick Queen is already back there.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problems is that they had a lot of people playing out of position. Like I said, they put Demeter at right tackle, and he's not a right tackle. He's a guard or a center. I think originally a center. So you expect him to swing out and try to stop somebody that's pass rushing, that's pretty good at it too. Yeah, he's going to have a hell of a hard time. But going into this Colts game, I really don't foresee their defense being a big problem for the Texans. No. But I do see that Anthony Richardson is going to be trying to scramble a lot. But that might be a good thing because we just seen Lamar Jackson, and nobody really does it better than him as far as scrambling.
You ain't kidding.
And you got a big rookie quarterback coming out here. He's going to make some mistakes. And that can really fall in the Texans' favor.
Look, I'm going to tell you like this. If the Texans' offensive line can block DeForest Buckner and they can actually come up with some plays where he can get the ball out quick, because he wasn't getting the ball out quick either. He was holding on to it a little bit too long. If he can get the ball out quicker, run some screens, involve Devin Singletary, because what they were doing with Robert Wood, getting the ball to him across the middle, get the tight end involved. Like you picked him up.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it Dalton Schultz, right?
Yeah, Schultz.
Yeah, you picked him up. Bam, get him involved.
Yeah.
And he need to learn to throw the ball away too. Dear God.
He needs to learn how to throw the ball away, but he also needs to learn how to hit people on the run. Because I want to say, in the second half, going down into halftime, it's like 2 minutes left. He had a couple plays where he just let the ball get away from him.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, Stroud, what are you doing? And I think if we had somebody that was like a more veteran like quarterback, he would have completed those passes.
Well, I told you from the beginning of the season, I feel like he shouldn't start until maybe like week 6 or 7. I would let Case Keenum go out there and because you want to see what the offensive line is first.
Yeah.
Not to say that, they're just terrible by any means, but you want to see where they at first before you put C.J. Stroud out there. But I understand you want to, get him out there, let him get over his little, first game jitters, whatever, and just see.
And he
develop
needs the reps.
And he did. He needs the reps because in the preseason he really didn't get them as he should have. And you already know the quarterback behind him is just not the answer.
Yeah, Davis Mills.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not the answer.
I'm actually surprised he didn't get
But
that.
you know what? When in the first quarter, when C.J. Stroud was looking uncomfortable and stuff like that, I was like, man, they might as well just put Mills in the game because he wasn't looking too good. But then he finally settled down and he started to, show why he was taken with number 2 overall.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of good things about Stroud. Hopefully he comes into week 2 already comfortable and they start fast, and I think they'll beat the Colts.
How many points you think they're going to put up this week? Be real. Be honest. Because the Colts defense didn't look good.
Let's see. The over-under is 39. I could see Texans getting about 24 points.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe like 17, 20. Because I feel like they really gonna put up touchdowns, but I feel like it's gonna be more rushing touchdowns than passing. If he does get a passing touchdown, I feel like it'll come off a screen. But
I think this week he will at least get one passing touchdown, and then the other touchdown will be a rushing touchdown, like you said, for sure. And then the other points will probably combine from field goals.
Yeah.
So looking into the previous week as well, week 1, let's just look at some of the games in review. Lions beat the Chiefs 21-20.
Yeah.
Jared Goff played his ass off.
2-0. 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes need receivers, and I think they'll be one of the first teams in the NFL to be trying to trade for a new target.
They had all season. They passed on D-Hop. They let Juju Smith-Schuster walk. They drafted Sky Moore. They just was gun-ho all about Kadarius Toney. So I don't want to hear all of that, oh, we need receivers now.
Kadarius Toney looked horrible. How many drop passes he had? Like 4?
Yeah, he had too many for my liking. Man, but that pick, that pick was horrible. And then the fact that he showed no effort when chasing down Branch. And then in the fourth quarter, on 4th and 25, and they threw it to him, and he just, like, oh my God. Like,
Just crazy.
But,
go ahead. What'd you say?
A lot of them passes, they wasn't really just on the money, but they were catchable.
Look, Mahomes, I know a lot of people going to talk about the receivers, but Mahomes really didn't throw too many good passes in that game.
He didn't. Because that one, the Sky Moore, was way behind him. That's why he missed that.
He was either throwing them behind him or too high.
Yeah, Travis Kelce used to catching all that stuff, making him look good. But you got to realize, you just got these receivers on the team. They got to adjust to that.
Right.
You don't have Nicole Hardman anymore. But look, though, it's a miracle now. Now, all of a sudden, Travis Kelce going to be healthy, playing against the number 1 team in the AFC South.
Not only is he going to be healthy, but you know who else is coming back this week?
Oh, Chris Jones got the money. Now all of a sudden, they miraculously got the bread to pay him. Playing against the number 1 team in the AFC South, led by Trevor Lawrence and the real Josh Allen. not the fake one in Buffalo. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Oh, okay, number 1 team. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Hey, it is what it is. Last time I checked, I think they the only team in the division with a win. I think so.
That's true.
Yeah, even though we did play against the team that y'all finna play this weekend, you know, but
so
I didn't want to throw that out there.
So we'll get to see how good y'all are versus the Texans, you know, when we take off against these Colts. But in the NFC South, they had the Falcons and Panthers. I want to highlight this game because it was Bryce Young's first game, and he went out there threw 146 yards, 1 TD, 2 picks. What do you think about Bryce Young?
He needs some time to develop. And don't get me wrong, Frank Wright is the right coach for him. Mm-hmm. Look what he's done with Andrew Luck. Look what he has done with just, you know, the offensive mindset that he had with the Eagles and everything else. He has the right coach. He has the right weapons. Well, I don't know about weapons now because Adam Thielen is, you know, past his prime, but he still can be a good safety net for what they're trying to accomplish. That he still needs a receiver that can go over the top. You know, the run game is, you know, I like Chuba. I like Chuba. I like what he can bring to the table. The offensive line, they drafted some monsters last year. They plugged up a couple of holes this year, but it's just. He just got a lot of jitters out there. And then the thing is, they played against a team that is in the same situation they in.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Algier for Atlanta, he actually had 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 TDs. Where was Bijan in that game?
Oh, he was on the field. Don't get it twisted. Bijan was on the field. You didn't see that nasty little juke where that boy juked somebody and ran through 2 defenders and scored that touchdown? He was there, my friends. He was there.
Yeah. So wrapping that up, 24-10, Falcons got the dub. Now this is another good game. Well, was supposed to be. Mr. $50 million man, he did not show up in this Bengals and Browns matchup. 24-3, Browns got the W.
Joe Burrow is hurt. That's all I need to say. Joe Burrow is still suffering from that leg injury. He just went out there because he just got $275 million. He did not look good at all.
I think what really happened is that the Cleveland Browns took Jamar Chase's trash talk personally.
They did. I would be offended too if somebody called me the Cleveland Elves.
Well, Deshaun, he did okay, I guess. 154 yards.
He didn't look good either.
1 TD, 1
Just keep running the ball. Nick Chubb, you did great.
Just keep running the
ball. Just keep running the ball.
18 carries, 106.
They don't, honestly, all they need Deshaun Watson to do now is not turn the ball over. Just, you know.
Do you think
he shouldn't get more than 15 to 20 passes a game?
Do you think Deshaun at this point of his career after returning from his hiatus, do you think he's going to be a game manager?
Yes.
You don't think he'll ever be the same?
He is the new Seneca Wallace.
Wow. That's pretty low.
No, it's not. Seneca Wallace wasn't bad, but he wasn't great either.
He wasn't great.
And that's what Deshaun Watson did.
Well,
let me tell you something. Because when we had Deshaun Watson, he was great. The Deshaun Watson they have, oh man, he's everything but a football player. And we can't call him what they call him because this is a publicly syndicated talk show. So we can't call him what they call him.
Hey.
But what they call him is not positive and is not meant to be heard by little children.
Hey, looking at some of the new quarterbacks in New Jersey's debuts, Derek Carr got a victory, 16-15 against the Tennessee Titans.
Man,
also,
they didn't look good. They did not look good. Come on, bro. Like, we can sit here and talk about, you know, everybody was, oh, Derek Carr gonna be this, Derek Carr gonna be that. I can tell you what he was. He wasn't good. So that lets me know, did the Raiders make the right choice?
Well, you ask me, the Raiders did. Because Garoppolo went out there and got a W too. 200 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick.
Oh, yeah, he gonna throw
That's another quarterback with a great debut.
Hey, so if Jimmy Garoppolo can maintain this, the Raiders might actually be a decent team because Jacoby Myers look good. He is a nice compliment to Devontae Adams.
Yeah, speaking of Myers, bro, he went out there 9 receptions, 81 yards, 2 TDs. So he was showing up. Even though it was a close game, 17-16, the Raiders still found a way to win. And I think that's the one difference about this Raiders team going into the season already. They're finding ways to win the game.
Yeah, because they always hype up that Broncos defense and, they got the best shutdown corner in the league with Patrick Surtain II, and they got all this safety help. And, man, look, y'all done paid all that money, and y'all still losing to a team that is projected to win 6 games? Stop it.
And
Broncos ride my ass.
And it goes into question, what did Sean Payton really change?
Well, he changed the dynamic that Russell Wilson is broken. He didn't look great, but he is showing his age. Russell Wilson looks like a 34-year-old quarterback out there playing against them young kids because he out there getting manhandled.
Well,
still.
You know what? This is the quarterback who had the number 1 debut out of all the new quarterbacks or first-time starters.
Aaron Rodgers.
Jordan Love.
Oh,
his yeah, Jordan Love, bro. 245 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, no turnovers. That's pretty solid. Delivering on an opener against Chicago. 38-20 win. They blew them out. They took care of an old-time rivalry. Justin Fields, I'm starting to question his...
Nah, I just feel bad for Justin Fields. They need to go ahead, cut Chase Claypool. Trash. He's a bum. He's a bum. A bum.
What happened to Claypool?
I don't know. Maybe he was just good in that system in Pittsburgh, but what he doing right now in Chicago, hey, he is not safe on the streets. He's not safe. They need to just go ahead. Matter of fact, trade him to Kansas City. They'll give you a 2nd-round draft pick for him.
That might revive his career.
Man, they need something because he's not it. DJ Moore look good, but that other guy, no.
Let's look at some of the other games. 49ers win 30-7 against the Steelers. You also got the Eagles beating the Patriots 25-20.
That game was actually good.
Pretty solid. Jalen Hurts, he went out there, played pretty well. Mac Jones played exceptional, 316 yards passing, 3 TDs.
He played better in the second half than he did in that first half. That first half, I was like, man, I think he's a bust.
I don't know, not a bust, but I think he's above average quarterback,
man,
for sure.
He's a game manager. He has finally reached the bracket of Kirk Cousins.
But man, here's my AFC Player of the Week. Tua, 466 yards passing, 3 TDs, 1 pick, in a shootout against the Chargers, 36-34 win for the Dolphins.
Okay. You know what my Player of the Week is?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers. You know why? Because he found a way to make $50 million this year and not play a single game.
He played with 1 snap, huh?
That boy played 4 series, and on the last series, that boy just sat down. I don't even know what happened. They had to come back and just tell us he hurt his Achilles because he was walking. Next thing you know, he was just on the ground.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Jets team is going to be pretty solid this year.
Yeah, defense-wise, because they caused your boy, the fake Josh Allen, because you know the real one's in Jacksonville, number 41, in case y'all was wondering. They caused him to throw 3 picks and 1 fumble.
Yeah, it seemed like that linebacker that y'all got was throwing the passes for him.
Yeah, Josh Allen, for the Buffalo Bills, you're my bum of the week. I was going to give it to Ryan Tannehill till I saw that Monday night game. But you took the cake, my friend. You took it.
Speaking of that Monday night game, 40-0. Cowboys, man. They look totally different on the defensive side. I mean, I think the Giants is supposed to be pretty decent this year. But the Cowboys actually made a lot of changes on the defense.
The
with adding Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And I think that right there just
solidified.
Yeah, solidified
that
everything.
Defense is, we always talking about like how good the Eagles look on defense. The Cowboys might have a scarier defense because they can plug and play anybody. They can roam Micah Parsons around.
You can't, because all they really needed was that extra DB. And now that they got that extra DB and they got some safety help too.
Yeah. Because
the front seven, bro, was solid. And with that front seven, them DBs, as long as Dak Prescott plays solid and don't turn the ball over. Now, I'm going to be honest, Dak Prescott didn't really play all that well.
He don't have to. He don't have to. All he got to do is manage, let Tony Pollard do his thing, and if you can find a way. Now, you know CeeDee Lamb is going to win most of his one-on-one matchups. If you can exploit and win those and get the ball to him in them one-on-one situations, you good. Mm-hmm. He don't have to force the ball. He don't have to do none of that at all because that defense. Did you see the way the defense is just scoring touchdowns? Like, there was no even point to even watch the second half of the game. Daniel Jones looked confused. Saquon looked lost. The offensive line was ass. Evan Neal was out there just getting beat and slapped around by Micah Parsons. You even had a Van Der Esch sighting on defense. And you know that never happens anymore. Like, Trey Diggs didn't have to do anything. They was out there catching picks.
Well, let's just say this.
Oh, my God.
Let's just say this. This is the best opener for the Cowboys in years.
Probably since the last time they won the Super Bowl. That was probably the last time I seen the defense for them this dominant.
Yeah. This is the first time I actually seen the Cowboys look dominant.
Oh, man, that was low.
All right, so look,
that was low.
Week 2.
And you know I don't even like the Cowboys, but that was low.
Week 2,
even
man.
For you.
Week 2. Minnesota and Eagles.
Why we got to start off with this monstrosity?
Got the Vikings and Eagles taking on each other. Eagles at home, 6-point line spread. Do you think the Eagles going to dominate, or you think it's going to be closer than what?
No, the Eagles are going to dominate. You know why? Because they get to go against the worst quarterback in high-profile games in NFL history.
Kirk Cousins. I agree
like,
with you on that.
Do you see how hard Justin Jefferson worked last week and still came up with the L? Like, come on, man.
Hey, Kirk Cousins worked hard too, bro.
Yeah, he worked hard at making sure he blow the game in every chance he get. Like, I've never seen anybody take pride in just like, you know what? I think I'm ready to blow the game for us. Here you go.
Look, I got two teams looking for a bounce back. The Vegas and the Buffalo Bills take on each other. Buffalo looking for the bounce back against the Raiders. Then we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals be looking for another bounce back as well.
The Bengals going 0-2.
You think Bengals going 0-2? And
yeah, they going 0-2. Because, think about it. They couldn't contain Myles Garrett. They're not going to be able to contain Roquan Smith or Patrick Queen. That's just too many different blitz packages.
You know who else is looking good for the Ravens?
Who?
Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, and there you go. You got another edge rusher. You got a run stopper. You already know Joe Mixon. He not the same high quality running back that he used to be. All right. It's gonna be a defensive matchup.
To be honest, I think for both of them teams, Cincinnati and Buffalo, they really need their star quarterbacks to step up to get the victory this week.
Oh, Joe Burrow's gonna have a better game than he had last week, but it's not gonna turn into a win. It's not gonna be a win.
And you think Josh Allen gonna bounce back? Because he threw 2 or 3 picks.
He threw 3. I know the bum of the week stats. He threw 3. He fumbled. But is he gonna bounce back against the Raiders?
Possible.
Yeah, the Raiders defense. I don't even know if what was the defensive end that was having issues with the Raiders? Did he play the UFC champion's brother?
No, he did not.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
They need the pass rush from him. I don't really.
I don't.
They got
see
the
him playing
Raiders
for a
got
while.
like a no-name defense this year.
They really do.
Like, wow.
You can't really name anybody on the Raiders defense. But somehow, I guess they're mediocre or better, good enough to get a dub against the Broncos.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny when David and BJ listen to this podcast. They're gonna be like, "Oh my God, you going in on the Raiders?" But no. Hey, I want y'all to actually tell us somebody on their defense that's actually notable. Oh, no. What's the other dude? Man, I think they got the defensive end on the other side. The white dude.
Crosby.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Crosby.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah,
that's probably all they got.
Yeah, that might be it.
They ain't got nothing.
Yeah. Oh, Max. Yeah, you are right. Max Crosby. That is right. Max Crosby.
Yeah,
Okay. There, look. There you go. We beat y'all to the punch. We named somebody for y'all. Because Lord knows.
Yeah, I think the Raiders going down.
Yeah, they might. They might.
But you know what? Tennessee and the Chargers should be a pretty good
shootout. The Chargers is blowing them dudes out. Did you not see what we just witnessed?
Nah, it's not gonna be a blowout.
What?
First off, the spread is only 3 points, and you already know
that's because they're professionals.
No, it's not that. The Titans like to control the game clock, so you know they're gonna do a lot on the ground.
Okay.
And that's why this game gonna stay close. Now, 45 points, I don't see that for both teams. It's gonna be under 45, but close 3 point game, yeah. It's gonna be a lot of running from the Tennessee side for sure.
Yeah. What they need to do, they need to go ahead and just throw in Will Levis. That Ryan Tannehill, the spirit
that Ryan Tannehill is
that's
really
over.
Yeah, that's over. He almost at the end of his career.
Almost. He's there. Did you not see that game last week?
He could sit on. He could be a bench warmer / mentor.
Nah, I'm not paying him. I'm not paying for
Well, one thing about Tannehill is for sure he's already selfish because he don't really want to be a mentor anyway.
Yeah, that's why they need to go ahead and cut him.
But
he, as a matter of fact, he can go to the Jets. He can take over for old Zach Wilson.
You don't think they should roll with Zach Wilson?
Hell no. No.
They gonna trade for somebody quarterback though. I don't know who it's gonna be.
Look, they can pick up Colt McCoy. They can pick up Cam Newton. Well, I don't know about Cam Newton. I don't know. Is Cam in shape?
You know who else called them?
Don't you dare say Tom Brady.
Nuh-uh.
Who?
Colin Kaepernick. His agent called the Jets, bro. Real talk, bro.
And I don't want to say this because I actually believe in what Colin Kaepernick stood for, and I still believe what Colin Kaepernick stood for. But this man has not played in the NFL in 7 years. He got to let it go. He already won his lawsuit.
Well, this is my thing about Colin. Why don't he just go play for the XFL?
Because that boy wants
the USFL.
Because this dude still believes he's worth $20 million a year.
Nah, he's not.
Bro,
that's in the discussion.
He should have went to the CFL, USFL, XFL, something to prove that he still has it.
Yeah, and he don't.
And he just really out here believing. My
Kaepernick
boy,
like what, 33, 34?
Yes, my boy's out here like Tim Tebow. That boy really think he still got it.
Now,
sir,
I will say, since Tebow had a shot, they should have gave Kaepernick a shot.
Look, I call RG3 before I call Colin Kaepernick.
I don't know about all that. But the San Francisco 49ers will be taking on the Rams this week. That's a good division game.
That's a good matchup.
Spread
Especially what I saw.
Spread is 8 points. Brock Purdy, I expect him to get the win though.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I never like to count out like Aaron Donald in that defense because they actually showed up against the Seahawks. But I don't know what it is about Brock Purdy, man. I don't know if the script is just perfectly written for this dude or what.
Purdy might be the next Brady.
That's the way it's looking.
Possibilities.
Man, because after what he did to the Steelers defense, and we know the Steelers got a good defense, because you got Cam Hayward, you got T.J. Watt, you got a rejuvenated Patrick Peterson somewhat.
I'm gonna say this. That's a good 3 o'clock matchup, but the best 3 o'clock matchup is gonna be Dallas and the New York Jets.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You don't think so?
So you telling me that Aaron Rodgers is playing?
He's not playing.
So it's not.
But when
good,
that defense show up
matchup.
on Dallas, we get to see something different. Because apparently
We
the
gonna
Giants
see,
didn't have.
we gonna see Dak struggle, and that's it. That's it.
So if Dak struggles, then it goes to show that Dallas is not as really good as we think they are.
But the run game is not gonna struggle because they gonna win. That's the only way they're gonna win through running the ball and short passing routes.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think only reason why the Jets will win this game is because Zach Wilson will probably mess it up.
No, it's not a probability. It's not a probability, bro.
Hey, look.
I don't understand why they didn't get another veteran. Like what? They need to call Joe Flacco. They need to trade for Mike White again. Something.
They
God
might
damn.
be calling Houston and asking for Case Keenum.
Nah, bro. They need somebody who already know that offense.
I think he does know that offense.
I think they. Who else has worked under him? Nathaniel Hackett that knows that offense. They need to call. Now, I'm not talking about Trevor Siemian. They don't need to get that desperate. They need to find somebody who's worked in that offense and familiar with it.
I have no idea, but they better figure it out pretty quick because Sunday will be here before you know it. And if Zach Wilson get hurt, you're gonna have Randall Cobb out there throwing passes.
Shit, Randall Cobb getting cut.
Boy, that's Aaron Rodgers' homeboy. He ain't going nowhere.
And guess what? If Aaron Rodgers is not playing.
Well, look, the Sunday night game is going to be pretty good. You got Miami and you got the New England Patriots at home.
Who at home?
New England.
Oh man. Okay, nah. Miami got that. Who is stopping the cheetah?
Nobody's stopping him, but I think it'll actually be a pretty good game just because New England is a well-coached team.
Let me tell you something. If Tua can find a way to get that deep ball out, it's a wrap. Now, Christian Gonzalez did look good. He looked good against the Eagles because they had him on A.J. Brown. He wasn't shutting him down, but he was breaking up a lot of passes.
This is my biggest question for the Patriots. Who are they receivers?
For the Patriots? They got Juju Smith-Schuster.
I forgot they did pick him up.
They have Nelson Aguilar.
He's kind of over the hill now.
Do they? Yeah, they do have. They do have Nelson Aguilar. They do have him, I believe. And you know they got Hunter Henry, the tight end.
He's average. He should have been better.
They don't have any like major receiver weapon. That's why they were trying.
Smith-Schuster's best.
That's why they were trying so hard to get D-Hop. That's why I thought D-Hop should have went because he would have been great in that system.
Yeah. Spread 3 points on that game. It might actually be 3 points, or it could be a bigger. It could be lopsided. Nah. You think it's gonna be lopsided?
The only thing that New England don't have to worry about is the run game because Miami has still the weakest run game I've ever seen.
Mozart is not bad though.
No, and that's the problem. They actually have good running backs. But whatever Mike McDaniels comes up with, it does not involve a run. That's why I was like, now that I think about it, I see why Dalvin Cook didn't want to go there.
But also, you kind of got to look at the team. Like, they built for deep threats with a whole bunch of speedy receivers.
That's it.
I mean, you got Waddle and Tyreek Hill. There's no DBs really out there that's going to be able to keep up with them
at all. And that's what they thrive on. They gonna find a way. No matter what, to get them the ball.
Yeah, and then
and they live or die by that, and that's to me that's the only struggle.
You know, moving to Monday night, we got a double header, which is pretty impressive.
Okay.
You got Carolina.
Oh, this is not impressive. You said impressive. Wait a minute, how you? That's the same, man.
No, look,
hey,
this is why
you said impressive.
This is why it's impressive because why does Carolina get a Monday night game?
You tell me. I don't know.
Because I want to know why my Texans not on there.
Wait a minute. Do they have any primetime games this year?
No. And you get New Orleans and and Carolina on Monday night,
Ugh.
and then you backdoor that with Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
That might be the best game.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland not gonna be good. I think Deshaun will actually pretty much dominate in that game, even though the spread is 2.5. But Kenny Pickett,
I need to see something.
Kenny Pickett don't look good, bro.
But he made such good strides at the end of the season last year. I thought it would carry. And you got to realize he's working with one of the best coaches in Mike Tomlin.
And I'm gonna tell you that part about him and Mike Tomlin. I think him working with Mike Tomlin, and Kenny Pickett continuing to struggle, I actually think it's gonna put Mike Tomlin's job on a hot seat.
Oh no. They'll get rid of Kenny Pickett before they get rid of Mike Tomlin. No, they not getting rid of a coach that has never had a losing season since he's been in the NFL. No, it's Kenny Pickett's fault if that's the case. It's not Mike Tomlin. No, I'd go in and put Mitchell Trubisky in. No. I'd rather trade up in the draft and draft Drake May or Caleb Williams before I say it's Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, bro. Tomlin been there for quite a few years. He's a successful coach, but I think it might be time for a change in Pittsburgh. Wow. I would like, you know what? Hey, look. No,
wow. That's like saying they need a change in New England, or they need a change in Seattle.
That's a little different. Only reason I say that is because, well, it's the same as far as Seattle, but New England is a little different. They won so many championships. What's his name? Damn coach.
Who?
New England.
Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick is never going anywhere, bro.
And Mike Tomlin shouldn't go anywhere either.
He shouldn't, but when was the last time they won anything?
Ooh, you wrong for that.
I'm just being honest.
Like, let me see. What the last time they been to the Super Bowl was 2008 against the Packers, and I think the last time they won the Super Bowl was against the Cardinals. Was that 2006?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a while.
And
it wasn't. It wasn't 2006. I don't think. It could have been.
You gotta look that up. When did they? Because that was it like? Was that 2008 or 9?
It was like 8 or 9. It was like 2008 or 9 when they beat the Cardinals.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not knocking Mike Tomlin, but I like to see him in a different color now. I like to see Mike Tomlin in college coaching.
Nah, he too good professionally. He is a true leader of men.
I think if he was a college, that's why he'd be a great college coach. It's a phantom dream, but I like to see Mike Tomlin coaching U of H.
Man, that's
oh, man.
Wait a minute. Where is Brian Flores right now?
He's a defensive coordinator.
Is he with the Steelers? Or is he with the Vikings?
Brian Flores. Where is he at? I'm going to have to look that one up, bro.
Because I could have sworn... I know he's a defensive coordinator, but I'm like, man, that's a real... Where are they now? Where's my boy?
That's a big question because after all those things that went through, as far as him...
you know what? I wonder if that stuff ever got resolved. Them lawsuits.
Apparently it worked out. He's a defensive coordinator for the Vikings.
Okay. Well, damn. His first game didn't work out. The second one not going to work out either.
Yeah. Well, transitioning out of NFL. Got a little MLB talk. Houston Astros, 83 wins, 64 losses, one game ahead of the Texas Rangers. I guess the good thing for the Astros is that if we do have to face the Rangers, we don't have to face Max Scherzer.
Yeah, they shut it down. Hey, but you know what? They was talking about this yesterday on sports radio, and I have to agree. Do you feel that Justin Verlander's fastball is slowing down? Like the velocity on it?
Bro, Justin Verlander is not the same pitcher he was.
Man, he is giving up a lot of runs.
In 2017.
That first game against the team that I can't believe that we was losing games to.
The Athletics, bro. Like,
hey, that boy gave up 5 runs in 7 innings. I'm like, oh my God.
There's no reason why the Houston Astros should
be losing
go into a series against the Athletics and only win one game.
at all.
Out of 3. There's no reason. And now this next series, they face off against the Kansas City Royals. And this is another series that they need to take advantage of because the Royals aren't good.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Kyle Tucker, man. 100 home runs now.
Tucker a beast, bro.
Yeah. But the only thing, my mental flaw with the Astros, we have great players. We have a great, pipeline system to get in new athletes, but we never pay them.
But better start paying them.
But the good thing is, a lot of them are under contract. That's why they don't care. We have taken analytics to a whole new level to where we know that the only one I know for sure we're going to keep when it's all said and done is Altuve. He the only one that can stay until he's 40 or until he just don't want to play no more.
Bro, that's true. That's true.
But I feel like
they keep paying Justin Verlander. They trade him, they pull him back in. They just can't lose that dude, man.
They love. He needs to go ahead and become like a pitching coach or something.
He probably is. He probably will end up coaching for the Astros one day.
Yeah, he need to. He need to.
Well, somebody that need life coaching is KPJ for the Houston Rockets because he just can't get it right. He done had all the kind of help that he could possibly get from the Rockets as far as mentorship and things like that, and he just go out here and he get arrested. He assault his girlfriend, fractured her vertebrae.
Yeah, I know he getting cut. Like,
I don't think they're gonna cut him. They're gonna trade him. They'll trade him somewhere different, probably to a team that's more accepting of what he has become in the last week.
Because at the end of the day, he getting suspended for at least 10 to 20 games.
It's probably gonna be more than that.
And at this point, he just made a mockery of himself, and he just become a liability to any team that accepts him. And the last thing we need
is a cancer in the locker room.
Yeah, because I'm still trying to figure out if this, what's his name? The one from Canada. This Dylan Brooks move. I don't know if this move is gonna be because I know what we got rid of Christian Wood. He became a cancer to the younger players. I don't really see Dylan Brooks becoming like a cancer in the locker room, but I feel like his antics on the court is really gonna make him, make us like turn our eyes up at him and wonder if he's really worth the $80 million. Van Vliet, I don't have no issues with. I feel like he and Jalen Green will become like a good combo factor in the backcourt. The front court, as long as we keep Seguin on the right path, we got Jabari Smith. He looks great in the summer league. Will that transition over to the next 82 games? I'm not sure, but hopefully it will. And then Dylan Brooks is gonna have to realize he probably the oldest person on the team now, besides Boban, which I don't know why they brought back again. But he got to be a mentor more than an asshole this season. He has no choice.
Dylan Brooks might be an issue for the Houston Rockets, but he could be a good issue. Looking at what he did for Canada against USA, he dropped bombs on them. That boy was shooting from the outside, inside. He was doing things on defense, which he is a defensive specialist. He's not the oldest player on the team, though. Just looking at the roster, I think DJ Augustine is still on the roster.
Stop.
Oh, no, I forgot. I forgot they signed Jeff Green, 37 years old. So
why? Well, you know what? That's mental purposes, so I get it.
And he just got that chip, so I guess they feel like
he's doing it for the money.
Yeah, they feel like he can leave some good expressions onto these players' faces after they take these L's, because we're gonna collect a lot of those this year.
I don't think so. I honestly, with the roster that we have, the coaching that we have, I feel like it's gonna be more defense. It's gonna be more smart shot taking. The only thing I'm concerned about is now that you pretty much let me know that we should be good on that side, because I was concerned about veteran leadership. But now that I know that Jeff Green is, because I was really scared, because if Dylan Brooks was the oldest one on the squad and Boban, I was like, nah, we out of there.
Now, like you said, I don't understand why they picked up Boban. I think they just really picked him up for commercial reasons.
I think that's just marketing. That's
because
marketing.
he don't play. And
he don't contribute.
Yeah,
you know,
he don't really do anything. Now, I will say they do have some players on this team that I look forward to seeing traded, possibly before the year begins, or they might start off with him. Jayshon Tate, I really don't see a place for him anymore.
Nah, I can't. He is solid off the bench.
He is, but answer this question: what is really the difference between him and Dylan Brooks? They pretty much the same player, and to be honest, Dylan Brooks is actually more efficient from the 3-point.
True, but I feel like Tate gives you more explosiveness in the hole. That's where their difference is. Defense is there on both. They're both great perimeter defenders. I feel like Brooks gives you more on the outside, but Tate gives you more play on the inside.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. I could see that. Looking at Amen Thompson and seeing how he played in that one Summer League game, I think he'll be a bright spot for the Houston Rockets.
And that's how I know KPJ is gone, especially after the dumb stuff he did.
Yeah, exactly.
We know he's gone now.
Now they really don't need him. He becomes expendable, especially with Cam Whitmore playing and seeing how he even played.
Oh, but see, that's why you feel like they should go ahead and let go of Tate because of Whitmore. Because Cam Whitmore did look good.
Well,
and you can put him at small forward.
You can, but Whitmore, I think, is more offensive and explosive versus the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he more like a
Tate and Dylan Brooks is pretty much the same kind of player, but Tate comes at a much cheaper expense.
Do you feel that we can at least win 35 to 40 games this year with the squad that we have?
If everybody gel and buy into Udoka's system, I say yeah. Because I'm just thinking about, like, you got Tari Eason. He got to get some play, and he be playing pretty solid. He's actually possible to be he has the possibility of being a great 6-man off the bench.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, KPJ is gone, but you have Van Vliet, so he's making plays. He's been explosive to the basket.
You know, he's
shoot some shots. Jalen Green, I'm looking forward to seeing him take that huge step this year. It being year 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he definitely got to take that step. If he looked like he did last year, I don't think Jalen Green will ever be who he thought he was going to be.
I want him to be smarter about his shot selections this year.
He need to be smarter about his shot selection, and hopefully he has been working on his shot.
Yeah, because I feel like like his off the dribble shooting is terrible, but him creating his shot, that got better as the season went on last year. Mm-hmm. And he always gonna have that explosiveness, but I want him to realize that as you get older, people are gonna realize that one-dimensional game that you have, and they're gonna stop letting you come and drive in.
Yeah, because that's
gonna create
like
more
pretty
injuries.
much that's really all he got right now is that explosiveness to the basket.
Yeah. And I don't want him to get hurt.
But I'll tell you one thing. I've seen some big strides taken by Jabari Smith. Just looking at Summer League. I think Jabari, he's going to be pretty special this year. His shot has improved. He's better on defense. Only thing I wish Jabari could have did is probably put on a little bit more weight. But besides that, I look to see Jabari really just ball out this year. And there's no kind of, there's no telling what we'll get out of Alperen Sengun, because every year he just improves and seems to be pretty amazing as well. So I look forward to him making a big jump as well. And then, it's pretty interesting because you kind of looking at these players grow up. When they first came into the league, they was like 18, 19 years old, and now they're 21 and stuff like that. So it's pretty impressive to see what kind of strides they're going to make over the next couple seasons, and just what kind of strides they can make this season to be in a better position to win. And hopefully, like you said, maybe the Rockets can pull off 35 to 40 wins.
Do you believe that we'll have any All-Stars this year?
Possibly one. Possibly.
Yeah, I believe one, but I don't really know who our one is going to... Well, really, if that's the case, if I'm going to say that, I might as well say, look, if Seguin doesn't get picked to be an All-Star, then I know for sure they'll probably give it to Van Vliet.
Nah, I don't see Van Vliet being an All-Star. It has to be Sengun or Jalen Green. If it's not one of them two, I don't expect us to have an All-Star.
Yeah. If it's not,
and to be truly honest, it needs to be Jalen Green.
To show that's I feel like that'll be a great confidence booster for him.
Yeah.
Or if he gets like the little, now that they're doing that tournament, if he can do so much with, like, he's like a candidate for, like, tournament MVP or something, that'll be a great booster for him too.
Yeah. So that's what needs to change for the Rockets. That's what I like to see out the Rockets. Before I wrap up this NBA talk, so one of the new rules is all the NBA teams must manage their roster to ensure that no more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. For example, the Boston Celtics would not be allowed to rest Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in the same game unless they are both injured. How do you like that rule?
That's a great rule, because now, me being a hard-working American citizen, if I want to take my family, my kids out to a game, the worst thing in the world, especially if they have like a star player that loves to play for that team, and then you go out there and see them, and then they sitting on the bench in street clothes. That's horrible. That's deflating to the game.
Mm-hmm. And another rule is that if that star player is injured, he has to be at the game in his street clothes. Because a lot of times, a lot of these players, they say they're injured, but then they don't show up. They stay at home, or they go do whatever the hell they was doing or they wanted to do. But since they got to actually be there with the team on the road and at home, it's a good thing too, because like you said, a lot of people, they work hard for their money, and then they take their kids to see these players and stuff, and then they don't even be there. Or they be like, oh, LeBron's going to sit out today, or Kawhi Leonard's going to sit out today. And you be like, damn, bro, like, I really want to see LeBron ball out,
Yeah.
So another good rule that they dropped is that the teams must ensure that their star players are available for nationally televised games and in-season tournament games. So there's no more, oh, it's a big game and we're not going to be able to get to see this matchup versus, LeBron versus Kawhi Leonard or whatever the case may be. And I would say this, I think LeBron and Kawhi, and it's somebody else.
Nah,
but
LeBron don't sit out a lot of games unless he really hurt. LeBron will play for the fans.
Sometimes.
Now,
Kawhi, this latter was...
Paul George, yeah, I'm talking to you too, PG, because you'll sit out some quality games. Who else? Zion, quality games.
Now, you know what Zion is known for that. Right. Well, to be honest, the good thing is that you really get to see the matchup now, and it don't have to be, it does have to be an in-season tournament or whatever, since that's what they brought into the NBA, which I don't like. But
I don't even get it. See the point of it.
But now it's a nationally televised game, so anytime it's a big game, you're gonna see the star players play, and which it should be like that. Yeah. They shouldn't be avoiding each other until the playoffs come.
Yeah, we are a long way from the 80s and 90s when everybody played no matter what. Now, they get hangnails, ingrown toenails, they not playing. Yeah. If I got a headache, they not playing. Man.
And there's another rule that they dropped, bro, is they can't do no long-term shutdowns no more, or near shutdown, when them players, when they get near the end of the season and then they try to say, oh, we're going to sit Damian Lillard and he sat for 11 games, or Bradley Beal and he sat for 10 games, or they just feel like, oh, the season over, we're not going to make the playoffs, so I might as well sit out. Nah, none of that no more. You got to go earn that money, which I think is fair.
Yeah. And then the main thing is, all this does is help the NBA with revenue.
Mm-hmm. It does, and that's what the NBA is trying to do, make more money.
My favorite thing too, You gotta play 65 games to qualify to get any awards.
Yes.
Gotta play 65.
So none of that.
None of that averaging 30 points. If you only play 30 games. Yeah. Then you good.
I think rookies got it the worst because they'll play like you said, they'll play like 55, 60 games and then they'll try to go get some kind of reward or whatever. Nah, none of that bullshit no more, bro.
And that goes for everything. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA First Team, scoring title, all of that.
Play every day.
You gotta play.
Every day. While you playing, the NFL need to do it too. And make sure these niggas...
Well, the NFL is different because you actually get hit. Basketball is intended to be a non-contact sport.
Yeah, but...
And it's just sad that they just don't want to play. Football, I can understand. Because, you out there with some grown men and they knocking you around.
Yeah, I see from that point of view. But the NFL has the worst problem with holdouts.
They need to find a way to just...
But also, in the players' defense, the NFL players should get paid a whole lot more money than what they're making.
That's true. They only get they only get a fraction of what the owners actually make.
A very, very small fraction at that.
It's like they're from the revenue that they get based on every player on the team's salary. It's not even. I don't even think it's half of what they generate.
Oh, it's not. Oh, and the one last thing I want to wrap up. I know we jumped back to the NFL, but the one thing I want to hit on that's very important that played a big part in Aaron Rodgers' injury is the NFL do need to get rid of turf, bro. Like,
yeah, turf. I saw the petition, but I could have been wrong. I thought that everybody switched over to those pallets of natural grass that they slide in and out. I thought everybody was doing that now.
Nah, everybody's pretty much switched over to turf. Honestly, bro, only teams that really play on natural grass is like teams down south that has an outdoor stadium, like Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa. But anybody that has a retractable roof, with the exception of the Raiders, I think, and Arizona. Well, Raiders is not a retractable; it's a dome. But with the exception of them two teams, everybody else play on turf. Like I think the Rams, they play on turf. The Saints play on turf because they don't have any skylights. So,
man, but I always thought like the grass that they use, because I thought everybody was like turf is just concrete. And then ever since Reggie Bush had that lawsuit against the 49ers when he hurt himself, I thought they found some type of grass. It's fake, but it looks
yeah. They got grass turf. It can look and feel real, but the thing about it is that under the turf is what? Cement. And that even goes for the Texans. The Texans they play on turf now. They don't even have grass in there no more.
Well, they don't open the roof,
which is crazy too. But under that turf, bro, it's just cement. Yeah, so all you got is that little thin padding, and then you got the turf sitting on top of it. Yeah. So really,
it's like school carpet,
bro. Really, all we doing, we just going out there running around on cement and getting tackled.
Ooh, don't say that.
Because
that's why boys blowing out these ACLs.
Yeah, that's why they blowing out their ACLs, and that's why they get more concussions because there's no real padding,
Oh, because they slamming their head again.
Yeah. So versus playing on dirt.
If this is happening in the NFL at a high level, I can only imagine what's going on in college.
Well, it's bad in college too, but surprisingly, a lot more colleges play on grass.
Oh, okay.
And then you got to also remember a lot more colleges play outdoors.
That's true
so
too.
They gotta have grass, but it is cheaper to have turf. So that's why a lot of owners and colleges have taken an alternative to switch to turf because
it's
turf
cheaper
is cheaper
to have grass. I mean turf. How?
Because you ain't gotta water it. You ain't gotta water it. You ain't gotta cut it. You don't have to continuously take squares out and replace it with new grass turf or whatever for whatever reason from the footing. Maybe it was a muddy football game or whatever. You got to replace all that or or have someone go through and fix all of that. But with turf, you don't have to worry about that. It's just keep using it, and I think they would. Well, I guess they used to do some kind of like vacuuming or whatever, but now they don't have to do that no more. They just
that's crazy to me.
I would say like maybe once a year they probably replace the turf. Hopefully they replace it.
Because the reason why I say that, because it's like, you always got golf tournaments, you always got golf going on. They play on grass all year round. They have never installed any type of turf or anything like that, and they playing on natural grass, and they play on it religiously.
But what do you really need? I mean, grass or turf or golf really won't affect anything. I mean, it'll affect the roll of the ball, but it's not really going to affect the players because it's not a contact sport. Now, it'll affect like soccer.
Yeah, turf would seriously affect soccer.
But if you look at the pitch of soccer, the actual pitch, they play on grass all the time.
Yeah.
So grass is a whole lot better. I know it's more expensive, but as somebody said on the radio earlier, the price of grass is not going to affect the owner's pockets, bro.
At all.
The whatever they spend on grass right then, they're going to make that back the same day, regardless.
True.
They make so much money, bro. It's ridiculous. Go ahead and put the grass down. And I think it'll make the game better anyway. I like to see players out there in the mud, you know what I'm saying, in the trenches going back and forth.
Yeah, doing what they got to do.
So, let's get back to some old school football. And let's look forward to another week of college football and NFL.
Let's go.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. I know it's been a long episode, but I think it's been pretty fun. It's been a good ride today.
Thank you for having me back, man. It feels good to be back. Missed this old comfort zone, this good talk we used to have. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody for listening again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the HSC website as well.
Check us out.
All the content will be there. Thank you.